just want to thank everybody for coming. And of course, Mrs. Ford and Mayor Ford for coming out. So, big question, how was your summer? I had a very interesting summer for sure. 150 hours, being very up close and intimate with this guy here. Literally inches away from his face, well, inches away from that canvas anyway, with a myriad of pictures trying to depict Mr. Ford here. About 3 years ago, I guess when I first became a council, I'll just give you a history of how it came to be. I had met Diane at a couple of functions. I think one of them would have been the outdoor art exhibit outside here. And we started talking. She found out that I was an artist before I became a politician. And, you know, out of conversation, she said, you know, I've always wanted a portrait of my son. I thought, you know what? I said, I'll try to do one for you. And I had it in my mind to do a portrait of Rob at some point. That was 3 years ago, of course, and every time I saw Diane, it was usually at the outdoor art exhibit or Ford Fest, wherever it was. She would always make the comment, so have you started the portrait? Have you finished the portrait? And I got to get this portrait done. So I decided it was time to do the portrait. Luckily this summer I had a bit of, as you can appreciate the demands of the job, sometimes we don't have that opportunity, but it was a little bit slower for me. So I had some time put aside to do the painting, which we're going to unveil in a second here. What I want... certain words come to mind: very colorful, very vibrant, complicated, intense, activity, constant activity, always swirling around him. So these are the kind of things I was looking at as I was painting the portrait, trying to create the essence of the man and who the man represents. Here we go.
Gave me more hair.
Hey, how about, does David Price still work for the mayor?
Next availability is at 2 o'clock.
We're asking you, you're the press.
And I just told you, the next avail is at 2 o'clock and you can ask your questions.
So when there's a microphone and podium in front of the mayor, he's not available?
Councillor Crawford was unveiling a portrait of the mayor today.
The mayor wouldn't even take questions about the portrait.
What's the mayor hiding from, Sonny? Why is he running to
Look,
steals in
having a
Western
rude
Road?
reporter ask
Are you calling her
questions
rude?
when there's no...
Excuse me, Sonny, are you calling me rude?
No, when there was... I asked that gentleman and I told him that...
How should reporters behave? Tell us how we should behave.
You have your own conduct.
Is it respect for taxpayers to have
But I
three
said
city
that
hall
there's
security
no
guards
conduct.
keeping an eye on the media?
I said there's no opportunity for questions, and this gentleman was just shouting it. So
I
it
guess-
was inappropriate. And
Is it
the next
appropriate
availability
then
is
for the
at 2
mayor
o'clock.
to not
Thank you.
address reporters here?
Is having 3 city hall security guards keep an eye on the media a good use of resources?
How many city staff were used for that event?
But should the mayor address it? He's been dodging questions today so far.
Well, you're probably right. He's dodging questions, so it's up to him. It's his staff.
What's been your deal?
Our tax dollars.
This morning, several City Hall security guards, several City Hall staff used the City Hall members lounge to unveil a portrait of himself commissioned by his mother. And then reporters were told there were no questions, and later were told it was rude to ask questions. This was a private event. I mean, where's the line between using city resources?
They said it was a private event?
The deputy mayor described it as
Is that a private event?
Well, anything that happens at City Hall is not a private event. It's a civic event. And if the mayor is participating in it, he's doing it in his role as the mayor. Nothing is private using city resources. Is it appropriate for the mayor of the biggest city in the country to be participating in these kinds of self-promotional activities? In my opinion, no. Get on with governing the city. If he wants to spend all his time running to be the mayor of the City of Toronto, I wish he'd just spend some of his time being the mayor of the City of Toronto instead of engaging in these silly stunts.
Mr. Mayor,
The mayor's not taking any questions. The mayor is not taking any questions right now.
David Price still work
The mayor is not taking any questions right now. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, does David Price still work
Do you
for you?
condone his behavior?
What? What is that?